Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the weekly comic run. We've got a big haul this week, so still got the time to do so. Trying to get an early start. Taking things off, we've got the Invincible Iron Man number 10. Where we left off in X-Men earlier this month, while trying to prevent Emma Frost under the guise of Hazel Kensington from attacking Fei Long at the Hellfire Club. Tony Stark, the new Black King of the Hellfire Club, apparently proposed to Hazel in front of Fei Long. Of course, to keep up appearances, Hazel accepted. Other things that have been going on. Earlier in the series, Iron Man and War Machine attacked a Stark Industries plant that was producing Sentinels after Fei Long bought the company. They destroyed the factory, making sure there was no one inside, no one could be hurt. Just the building destroyed. Just the building and what was in it destroyed. That's all. However, Orcus arranged a crime scene with corpses, having killed some of the workers personally to have the corpses handy. As War Machine was found near the site, he was arrested and is basically being held on murder charges, while Tony Stark tries to get his lawyer, Jen Walters, to do everything she can to arrange for Rhodey's freedom. But it's not going quickly for her. So we open actually slightly before the end of this month's earlier issue of X-Men. Rhodey is in prison and he's handed a cell phone. He's got a phone call. The cell phone is then brought to Tony. Basically, Fei Long wants to ensure that, or arrange this so that Tony Stark could hear Rhodey murdered in the prison yard. However, as the inmates attempt to kill Rhodey, Rhodey's saved by a rather unlikely ally. Well, two unlikely allies. Also, during this, the White King of the Hellfire Club stops Tony from attacking Fei Long personally. Turns out the White King has also arranged, at Tony's request, protection for Rhodey in prison, in the form of the Living Laser and Sandman, who were able to get themselves arrested promptly in Texas. Not that hard to do, really. But Fei Long is informed of his plan's failure. And we see Tony asking Wilson Fisk for help. But Emma attempts to assault Fei Long and is pulled aside by Tony and prevented from doing so. Fei Long walks in and sees the proposal, and well, the two of them roll with it. Fei Long asks if he's invited to the wedding, and Stark says that he's not. Fei Long also attempts to recruit Tony to Orcus. There's some, it would be easy to fix that. Hazel Kendall. But Tony and Emma head to Vegas. Played up for the cameras. Then Tony armors up in the Martindale, going after one of Zeke Stain's warehouses and getting exactly what he needs. A machine that builds other machines. Deadpool picks it up for Tony at the behest of Steve Rogers. They go to but Tony and Hazel are married at the Gamble of Love Chapel in Las Vegas. Of course, Fei Long crashes. But when Fei Long arrives to crash the ceremony, well, Emma slips off the power inhibitor ring that she's been wearing, and her and Iron Man get into Fei Long's head. One, so that Tony can see the film strip that Tony had been loved by his father Howard, which apparently Fei Long had watched and had destroyed. Basically, turns out that Howard had learned of the existence of Mysterium. It was trying to figure out how to get it. Emma proceeds to look through Fei Long's head, kind of a getting to know your enemy type of thing. Turns out he's long stated that that his parents abandoned him. His parents were apparently mutants. Fei Long did not inherit an X gene. And he came to despise mutants because of the fact that he wasn't like his parents. Whereas his parents loved him as he was. But he still hated them, and mutants in general, for what he wasn't. But the wedding occurs, and turns out that Emma all along had a piece of Mysterium on her X-pendant. But the plan is going to require quite a bit of Emma and Tony's plan is going to require quite a bit of Mysterium. Tony saying all of it. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. Good to see. Great to see some further information on Fei Long. Making it clear that he's motivated primarily by jealousy. And yeah, it makes him real easy to be a villain you just don't like. There are villains that they have their redeeming qualities. Even if those redeeming qualities are just that they're really entertaining. But Fei Long's not one of them. He doesn't have redeeming qualities. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Jean Grey number 2. Where we left off, Jean, in the moment of her death, was seeing possibilities of how things could go different. One being, in the last issue we had, if she hadn't, if when the original 5 X-Men returned to the past after their brief stay in the present, if they hadn't had their memories erased. things did not go well. And so now is another pivotal moment that she's looking at. That pivotal moment being the Phoenix. So we get a recap of Jean becoming the Phoenix. The X-Men were in a shuttle. Return to Earth, facing an approaching solar flare that would kill anyone unprotected. Xavier had been psychically incapacitated. The shuttle was shielded, or had a shielded containment room, and was safe inside until shrapnel damaged the shuttle's autopilot. And so, Jean decided she would pilot the shuttle to Earth, keeping herself protected. Cyclops objected, saying that she'd die. Logan objected as well, but the shuttle crashed, and Jean was reborn from the wreckage as the Phoenix. In this version of things, however, Wolverine takes the cockpit with Jean keeping the shuttle together telekinetically, and also using her own willpower to shore up Wolverine's. Which also unlocks all of Wolverine's memories, though at the time it says there's a walled-off hard stop in his memories. Shuttle crashes, and Wolverine, most of his skin burned away, rises from the wreckage as the Phoenix. The Phoenix takes over and fully accepts this new host, and adamantium spikes form from his body. The X-Men go off to say they're going out to Cassidy Keep, but Jean wants to make sure that Wolverine's okay. They go to Weapon X complex in Canada, which he's attacked, and Scott attempts to Scott and Jean both help, but Wolverine in a berserker rage, and but briefly the Phoenix Force takes over Scott, but he can't contain it, and so Logan kills Scott. It goes back to him, and then and destroys him in the process. Realizing, no, maybe things. So again, Jean has things probably. That's Moving on though to Madeline, and that is where the issue ends. I'm digging this. I'm really. Part of me wants to guess that Jean and the Phoenix are about to become besties again, but we'll see. Now that the Phoenix is no longer entangled with the Avengers. Interesting possible timeline. And I like the idea that so far the two potential alternate timelines have a definitive ending. So you couldn't. Which, on the one hand, it's always nice to see a what if flesh out something like these, but I kind of like there's really nothing to flesh out. The major points are hit. There's nothing alluded to in the background. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Miss Marvel, the New Mutant, number 2. Where we left off, Miss Marvel had popped up on the ESU campus as Kamala Khan is in a summer internship there. However, Kamala is also dealing with an odd nightmare, recurring nightmare, where she kind of feels torn between being an Avenger, a champion, and an X-Man. So she wakes up after one such nightmare, talks about it a little bit with Bruno. Meanwhile, Orcus is trying to figure out how exactly, you know, is Kamala on the ESU student at ESU, or was she just passing through? Miss Marvel, that is. But one point of the dream that comes to mind is reminds Kamala of one of her fanfics. A combination of Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer, the Cosmic Sorcerer. While making her way to class, Kamala sees a massive anti-mutant protest and a single counter-protester who the anti-mutant protesters won't even let speak. Later, Sync's been doing some looking into the Chitauri that Kamala dealt with last issue. But Orcus is trying to track whoever Miss Marvel is with by listening for X-Men comms, which sends forth a bunch of drones her way. Miss Marvel is able to handle the drones until they combine into a giant robot, though she's also able to handle that by wrapping herself around it and providing just the right amount of pressure. Iron Man also helps in the Mark Nil and takes Kamala to the Hellfire Club to meet his wife, or rather, to speak with his wife, Emma Frost. And Emma is basically just gonna say, while it was a mistake to let it be known that Miss Marvel is an X-Man, but well, for one thing, Emma states she doesn't. She suggests that Kamala set her misplaced idealism aside and tries settling for finding peace within herself, as Emma doesn't want to have to cradle Kamala's body someday, as she's rather tired of that. However, it turns out that there's a microdrone that got onto Miss Marvel's scalp. When she sleeps, it'll actually burrow its way in. And so Bruno has set up Kamala's dorm room for a sleep dream study. Eventually, Kamala falls asleep, breaks out of the egg in her dream, and actually talks to the Cosmic Sorcerer, and they ride the cosmic spaceways. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. The dream I imagine will have some. Let me make for an interesting concluding story arc. And well, it does look like. Well, I think Fall of X books all end in basically a couple months, so we don't have too terribly much longer to deal with Orcus being, well, Orcus. But yeah. Anyways, moving on though to our next book, we've got Realm of X #2. Where we left off, a handful of X-Men had ended up on Vanaheim after the Hellfire Gala. Among them was Curse, who was dragged there who was taken to safety by magic. Though Curse was not happy about this, and it seems that Kurtz did something to magic, which could be explaining why her magic's powers are on the fritz. Kurtz ran away from magic when they arrived in Vanaheim and was found by Saturnine. The rest of the mutants present were found by the Veneer and are helping them and staying with them. The mutants we're largely focused on are Magic, Dust, Typhoid Mary, Marrow, and Mirage. Mary is bored, just kind of sitting around, so occasionally she started taking a sparring with one of the women of the village, and it seems as an attraction. Magic is pouring through old books, trying to figure out if there's anything that can help. Apparently, a prophecy does make clear that yes, Kurtz is referred to in a prophecy. At the Citadel that Saturnine is taken for her own, it seems that Kurtz is an honored guest, but there is, of course, a reason. It seems that there's an energy source in the Citadel that was walled away. They can see it through basically a portal to another realm, but they can't use it. So now, Kurtz, the idea is basically put into Saturnine gives Kurtz the idea to help with making it usable. Dust, Mirage, and Marrow are all nearing Saturnine's Citadel, which is protected by various mystical barriers. However, Marrow and Mirage are some bounty hunters, and, well, not entirely forgiving. Dust points out that in her reconnaissance she's discovered a hidden door on the east side of the Citadel. They're working on trying to figure out how to go home. They've got a potential plan to get into the Citadel, but Mary is quite adamant that seeing as how she can't really seem to do anything, magic shouldn't come with them. She's just going to slow them down, and Ileana agrees. Saturnine is the larger scope of Saturnine's plan is divulged. Apparently, she's attempting to how do we put here? Basically, control the game of fate and destiny. As the X-Men make their way through the woods near the Citadel, the closer they get, more memories, basically bad memories attack them. We don't see what Dust sees, but she explains that she's never told anyone what she sees in her darkest hours. But she does what she always does when the images of her past intrude. She prays and keeps going. Mary sees bloody piles of bodies. It's not clear what Marrow sees, or Mirage. That said, we're magic with them. She can tell them exactly what it is, what was going on. But they make it to the Citadel, and they find what appears to be a massive city. Elsewhere, Magic is writing letters to Marrow, Danny, Mary, and Dust. Saturnine is preparing for the X-Men to attack while leaving her letters, either leaving the letters with the veneer or not, or taking them with her. Magic leaves the settlement, and that is where the issue ends. Be interesting to see how this plays out over the next few issues. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got, and our last book for the moment, we've got Star Wars Dr. Aphra, number 36. Where we left off, Aphra was investigating a Clone Wars era Cage Corp battle droid that had somehow, which had its power core removed years ago, but had still managed to become operational and kill an arms dealer and his customers. And, well, she went to her and just Lucky went to investigate this and stopped at Galator, Galator 3, so that Aphra could do some partying. And the woman Aphra opted to spend the night with had basically swindled her for all information on the job she was on. However, we begin at an undisclosed location of the current rebel base. It seems that General Leia Organa is listening to the distress call from one of the Alliance's supply vessels. And it's called in Magna Tolvan and her team to assist. At the Tage warehouse facility on Havel Prime, the various battle droids have been possessed by the Allspark, by the not Allspark, different wrong IP. The Spark Eternals droid Scourge, and they appear to be activating the battle droids there and going after, well, Aphra. Magna Tolvan arrives at the rebel base. Magna Tolvan is an ex of Aphra's with various cybernetic implants. Her team's informed of what General Organa knows, that doesn't seem the supply ship was attacked. It seems to be intact even. Now, this is where it was when the transmission was sent. So just go there, check it out, see what's up. And presumably get, I think they're on their way back with supplies, so bring the supplies. So the woman that Aphra ran into on Galator 3 runs into her at the Tage warehouse and is promptly killed by the battle droids, which appear to be similar in design to destroyer droids, that they can collapse and roll to another spot, presumably in an armored manner, collapsing them to defend their less defensible and more flexible parts. But just like he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on, he manages to temporarily save Aphra. Magna and her crew make it to the supply vessel, trying to figure out what's going on. It seems that the droid Scourge actually takes an interest in Aphra, presumably due to her surgery tattoos and whatnot. But they figure out what happens when all the droids depower. They all had their yes, the power cores were removed, but Lucky explains it like this: say you're running a casino in Canobite. You want the slot machines to keep going all the time, even while you service the power cells or cycle the security codes 3 times a day, so you install a backup. Battle droids had a backup. These battle droids had a backup installed, giving them a minute or two of power, but then where that power is gone and they deactivate. As Magnetar crew near the Silver Arrow on the Outer Rim, there's at least one Scourge-possessed droid aboard, seeing their arrival. Meanwhile, Lucky and Aphra pass on their findings to Demina Tage and say that they're on their way back to the castle's belly. And that is where the issue ends. Not bad. Dark Droids feels like an odd fit to tie into. I mean, there are obviously ways to make it work, but it still feels. I feel like there are ways to make Dr. Aphra work better with this. It's nothing else than her recent connection to the Spark Eternal. So it was an entertaining issue, though. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Big shout out to Patreon patrons Xander Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.